Welcome back, guys. This is Automotive Anonymous, and that's a 2023 Chevy Silverado ZR2. You can tell it's a ZR2 by the way that it is. Chevy doesn't let you forget with all the badging that it has, but today we need to review it and decide, is it worth the $71,000 that Chevrolet commands for this truck? Or should you leave it at the lot, consider the competition like the F-150 Tremor or Raptor, maybe the Ram Rebel? Well, today we're going to find out. So we're going to start this review with a walk around, go through the specs, initial driving impressions, 0 to 60 with a GPS, and then final thoughts to decide what do you do with the ZR2. Big thanks to the Twin Falls Chevy for letting me borrow it for the day. I will link this truck below in the description if you're interested. Otherwise, let's dive right in with this review. This 23 ZR2 Silverado is now the 5th model year of the 4th generation of the Chevy Silverado nameplate. So this generation started in 2019, but the ZR2 wasn't given to us until last year in 2022, when Chevy also gave you a refreshed front end. Of course, the ZR2 has a few extra accent pieces and a whole lot of extra capability we'll talk about, but on the front you can see it has the flow tie, the badging, the red tow hooks, the front skid plate, and about a 33-degree approach angle, which is pretty cool. You also have the power bulge on the front with the 6.2 liter advertised. But if you're gonna get a ZR2, you should know that they start just under $72,000. It's the 9th highest trim level of the 9 trim levels of the Chevy Silverado for 2023. Conveniently, exactly twice the price of a base model, which would be like a work truck, 2-wheel drive, single cab configuration. These are pretty cool. I picked one that was in the color black today because there's a lot of the glacier blue ones online, which is honestly probably my personal favorite. But I know a lot of you guys like black trucks, so here it is, the black ZR2. These are a pretty big half-ton truck. They have, again, about a 33-degree approach angle, about a 25-degree departure angle. They weigh about 5,600 pounds. They can tow 8,900 pounds, and then they can carry in the bed about 1,400 pounds. Usually off-road high-performance trucks are not the class leading as far as hauling and towing go, but it's still a full-size 1,500 level truck. There's still a crew cab short bed, or standard bed as it's called now, which is about 19 feet long. The wheelbase is about 11.5 feet, so it's pretty planted on the road with that. 6.5 feet tall, roughly 7 feet wide counting the mirrors, and then because it's the ZR2, you have 11.2 inches of ground clearance and a 3:23 final drive ratio, which is not a very aggressive final drive ratio, but because this is the 10-speed automatic, it can have more aggressive gears and make up for some of the acceleration. As you'll see, it's still very quick. Multimatic shocks, they're purpose-built for off-road suspension, not for being weighted down with a high payload. And then you have a 33-inch Goodyear Wrangler tire. More specifically, it's a 275/70 18 with a really nice 18-inch wheel. Very aggressive, all-terrain tire, so that you're going to be set when you're going off-roading. I'm honestly pretty glad that Chevy went with a modest tire, even on their Apex truck, and they didn't follow the lead of the competition, sometimes doing a 35 or a 37 mud terrain tire, because most people are not going to be off-roading their $75,000 truck to the point that it actually needs that level of a tire, and then you save a little bit of MPG. These have a 24-gallon tank located right there on the driver's side, rated for 14 city, 17 highway, so at best you're already only getting about 400 miles on a tank of gas. Anyways, let's move on and show you the interior. This is the key. It has remote start. It's just the typical GM key. You have proximity lock and unlock features. And let's show you the inside. The door panel of the ZR2 honestly looks really good, and if you guys follow my channel, you know I've reviewed a lot of Subarus. I think it's really interesting that Chevy copied the Subaru Forester's lunar moon landing surface. If you don't believe me, here's a picture. And also something interesting, Subaru and Chevy had a collaborative Chevy Forester overseas back in the day. Anyways, the soft touch contrasting materials in here look really nice. You of course have memory seats, locks, all the window controls, big giant Bose sound system, the double pockets for your bottles, and some snacks. Otherwise, you have a really nice running board that goes the whole length of the cabin. And then ZR2 on the door sill, rubberized mats, rubberized pedals, OBD2 port hood release, 4x4 options, electronic parking brake, lighting options, info for the heads-up display, and then some more controls up here for your windshield wipers. 10-way power adjustment seats. They're heated, they're ventilated, they look really good. They're bolstered well, so they're going to hold you fairly well in place and be really comfortable for a lot of people. Although I do wish they branded in ZR2 and then no moonroof up top. Sitting inside this truck is honestly a really cool place to be because it's really comfortable, it's really well designed, and there's a lot of nice soft touch higher end feeling materials. You can even see the hood bulge with the 6.2 liter advertised right there. You have a little bit of storage up here. Otherwise, we're gonna fire it right up with the push button start. And you have a lot of options to go through. On the right side of the wheel, let's see what it shows us. Information, music, navigation, all of your things right there. And then you have a really nice heads-up display, if you guys can see that. Otherwise, the horn sounds pretty good. You have all of your adaptive cruise settings on the left with the heated steering wheel button. Again, all of your 4x4 options down there. And then a nice big screen that has a really clear camera system. We're gonna stay in demo mode. There you have it. You can go through your different options. And you can do a lot of cool stuff up there. You also obviously have Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, things like that. Your trailer brake is down here. All of your controls for ventilation. I like that that's physical buttons. You can see the cooled seats to pull some hot air off of your bum. Otherwise, there are your options. There's your rear locker, your front and your rear lock, your traction control, just all the basic things. This is the shifter you have when you go into park though. Remember to push park. Don't just be used to pushing it up into reverse, because if you try to get out of your car that way, you might get ran over. You might cause an accident. You don't want to be involved in any part of that. Cup holders, phone position, and then you have a lifty tray, and then a few plugins and a household style outlet. So it's pretty capable, pretty practical. You have your rear camera mirror, which is fantastic, OnStar features, and then the controls for the rear mirror. There are your home link buttons. Sorry, this is how you adjust the dynamic mirror. Anyways, let's turn the truck off, hop in the back, and see how we fit behind ourselves. The back door panel follows the same theme. There's no surprises back here. Very nice to be wherever you're sitting in the vehicle. The running board again, it continues. And then you have the bench seat. That is a 60/40 split with some storage and some tire changing tools down there. So hopping in the back, pulling on the B-pillar handle, I'm 5'11", and I have more room back here than I almost know what to do with. I have about that much past my knees. I have a map pocket so I can be a backseat driver, cup holders, heated seats, plugins, ventilation, and another armrest with some more cup holders down here. I of course wish they would turn this 90 degrees so you can have your armrest being used without blocking up a cup holder, because what if I need all of those, at least for myself? Otherwise, it's really nice back here. You have some LED lighting up top, and I think we're gonna hop out and move on to the bed. The back of this top trim level Silverado is pretty cool. You have the fancy tailgate that can be dropped to hold some other longer items and keep things from sliding out. You also have the key that can drop the whole thing. Back here it is lined. You have a few spots to hold your bowl of chili, maybe your soda, whatever else you have on the job site, or if you're off-roading. You have a bar, a handle that you can use. You also have the grab handles on the back of the top of the bed. ZR2 is printed in. The bed is lined, which is really nice. And then you have 3 tie downs on every corner. They're rated for 500 pounds a piece. You have some LED lighting. You have a household style outlet. So there's a lot of cool things back here. And then when you have to lift the tailgate up, it's pretty light. It's pretty easy to do. There's no surprises on the rear passenger side. It's the same design language. It's just that you have the 40 split, and then there's your jack right there. Otherwise, you still have a map pocket, so you can have a backseat driver on either side. And if you're riding shotgun, you still have a really nice door panel, the yellow colored stitching, the Bose advertised speakers, and the big, humongous door pocket. Otherwise, ZR2 on the door sill, you still have the same all-weather mats. You have 10-way power adjustment seats, and our backpack's having a fantastic time. You also have a little bit of storage over here, just like you do on the driver's side, which I didn't identify. You have a hidden upper glove box, where you're gonna hide in there, comment below. And then you have a locking regular glove box that's adequately sized. But I don't see any plugins in here. It would be cool if they added you even an additional 12 volt or something in there. Otherwise, it's time to go around to the front, pop the hood, and show you what that 6.2 liter Ecotec 3 engine looks like. Under the hood, you have the best Chevy V8 that they currently put in the truck. It's the 6.2 liter. It makes 460 torque, 420 pound-feet of torque, and it's mostly unchanged for almost the last 10 years. You can see you have the battery on the passenger side. You have a lot of your reservoirs on the driver's side, and then your air filter in the box, some baffling to quiet it down, and then the upper intake manifold of the big V8. There's a lot of room to work on under here. You can see the oil fill on the driver's side, the oil dipstick on the passenger side, the alternator right up top, easy to get to, easy to change, and then the serpentine belts right there. Overall, this is a fantastic engine, and it's my favorite of the V8s in the Chevy trucks. Let's drop the hood. Time for my favorite part. We're gonna teleport and time travel to one of my favorite roads and show you how it drives. Initial driving impressions of the ZR2. It's a really fun truck. This feels like the best Chevy Silverado I've ever driven, because it's the pinnacle of the Chevy Silverado. Visibility is fantastic. You can really see the dimensions of this vehicle and where it ends. So even though it's 19 feet long, you know where it starts and stops. If you didn't, you could always turn on the cameras, use those while you're driving, and get some more clarity about where you're going, and look at the quality of that. You can even see the hood bulge in 6.2 liter specified on the hood, which I really like. The heads-up display is fantastic. You can go through the different options again. And honestly, I'm having a really good time. Everything ergonomically is really pleasing. It's easy to get comfortable. It's easy to find a nice position when you're driving down the road in this nearly 7-foot wide truck. Power comes on strong. The wheel is comfortable in the hand and has a lot of fancy features. The cooled seats are working well on a day like today. That's gonna be about 90 degrees pretty soon. It's quiet in here, but when you have the Bose speakers on, they sound really good. There's not too much noise that intrudes into the cabin under normal driving. With low wind, you can see the trees aren't dancing around too much, so the Bose goes a long ways. And it's a big black Silverado. It's a pushrod V8. It's the 6.2, which is my favorite regular truck engine. The seats are pretty comfortable. I really like the interior accents and everything. Our backpack's having a good time. It's a 5-star crash test rated vehicle and it has a bunch of safety features, which make life just a little bit easier, gives you some reassurance. Beyond all the capability that this one has with the multi-matic shocks, over 11 inches of ground clearance, the ability to tow a ZR2 behind a ZR2, and to do some pretty serious off-roading. These are really cool trucks. This one's about $74,000, so it's not cheap by any stretch of the imagination. That's a pricey truck. But what you get is a really good ride, a really capable vehicle, and one that will likely last you a very long time. You can also get the 6.2 in the LT Trail Boss. I'll have a review of one of those up pretty soon, if it's not already up by the time you see this. But if you have an extra 10 grand to spend, enjoy the ZR2. I feel like it's every bit as tall as things like the TRX I drove, the Ram Rebel, and some of its competitors. This is a really fun truck to drive, but keep in mind, you are in a big truck. You are in a 6.5-foot tall truck, so you're gonna have to slow down immensely. When you go around a corner, it's not like the CT5V Cadillac sedan, the sports sedan I hopped out of the other day, that you can just fling around a corner, keep traction, and accelerate hard out of it. Man, trucks go around corners so slowly if they're a reasonably set up 4-wheel drive high suspension truck. But honestly, you're gonna have a really good time. The interior cabin of this is basically a living room. And I definitely recommend you always drive multiple vehicles, multiple models, multiple manufacturers to make sure that you buy what's right for you, that you can make an informed decision. A little bit of body roll, some of that suspension forgiveness, that of course helps when you're doing some off-roading. So it's not gonna jar you and jiggle you around quite as much. Just make sure you're holding on to something when you go around a corner. Anyways, guys, I've rambled on long enough. Let's get to our private road. We'll do a 0 to 60 and then wrap it up with our final thoughts. 0 to 60 in the ZR2, traction controls off. We're in auto 4-wheel drive to prevent wheel spin. I'll, of course, brake rev, the automatic. Keep in mind, density altitude's over 5,800 feet today, so we are over a mile above sea level density altitude equivalent. That means that this ZR2 is down on power, roughly 18%. Let's go. True 0 to 60 came in at 6.99 seconds. Not bad for being over a mile above sea level. Here's the graph and then our final thoughts. Final thoughts of the 23 ZR2 is it's a phenomenal truck. And I would know. I've driven all the other Silverados for this model year, minus the work truck, so there's reviews of those if you're interested. I've also driven the Ram TRX, the Ram Rebel, and F-150, so I have a few other trucks, a few other perspectives and experiences to compare this to. I honestly really like how this rides. It's very smooth on the road. It feels pretty mild when you're just cruising around, but when you get on the gas, as you saw, to do a sub 7 seconds 0 to 60 at over a mile above sea level is honestly pretty darn impressive. What else is impressive? The off-road capability that it has. It's aggressive in appearance, the flow tie is nice, the front camera, the red tow hooks, all the other accents that it has. If nothing else, the hood bulge with the 6.2. I love that engine, and I think a lot of other Chevy owners do as well. But what are your thoughts, guys? I want to hear them in the comments. Leave your opinions, your experiences with the ZR2, or your wants and desires. What trucks are you comparing it to? Have you owned one? Are you considering it? Remember, this one I'll link below. Otherwise, if you like my video, please consider liking my video. It really helps my channel to grow, helps the video to get shared. If you want to watch more, you can subscribe to my channel. I always post at least once a week, and I hope you guys take care. I'll see you on the next one.